Welcome back to another video. Today I am explaining One For All, or at least Deku's use of One For All, his version. As we know, One For All is a simple power stock, quirk that he can expand to use whatever percentage with 100%, even 200% worth of damage. Though I think 200% is more exaggerated than anything. But anyway, the original One For All was created by All For One, as he assumed his younger brother Yoichi was quirkless, and wanting his brother to understand the allure of power, he just gives him a simple power stocking quirk. Now, he is only able to pass along this quirk and the same power to it because it was mixed with his brother's quirk, as well as his youngest brother original quirk that allows him to give his quirk to anybody. And All For One did not know that. Now, as we start, Deku has the first quirk as transmission quirk, one of his beginning quirks of One For All, as it comes from the second user of One For All, whose name remains unknown unless it was revealed. Then my bad. And it's the final quirk that Deku inherited, as transmission allows Deku to modify the speed of any object he touches. We see that mostly through the last arc and whatever he uses. Also, transmission appears able to increase Deku's speed in 3 stages, but is far more dangerous when he decides to use it offensively. Now, his second quirk, at least going down the list, One For All's Fajin quirk, the kinetic energy quirk. Now, Fajin originally belonged to the as yet unnamed third user of One For All. This is my research. I could not find the third name, so sorry about that. But this quirk allows Deku to charge up and store kinetic energy inside his body when he performs repetitive movements. Deku can also release this energy whenever he chooses, giving him an explosive burst of speed and power. Now, Deku has to regulate the amount of energy Fajin releases every time he uses this quirk, as recharging is as simple as waving his arm. This also allows him to boost his 45% allowable limit of One For All to imitate All Might to 100% for short bursts, so he is still cracking his body open. I ain't finna like you. Now, his next quirk is End's Smokescreen quirk, as it provides distraction, as it is the least offensive quirk, but it allows him to get around his enemy, as End's quirk was perfect for creating a quick distraction or shrouding oneself in secrecy. As Smokescreen emits thick, dark smoke for Deku's body when it's activated. When he chooses to, he can instantly hide himself in a cloud of smoke similar to a ninja smoke bomb. But it is the least offensive quirk and doesn't have any additional tools to give him a sane power boost, at least offensively. Now, One For All, for the fourth user, Hikage Shimori, used his quirk to remain hidden from the public while he strengthened One For All, but Deku adopts a more active approach to using his sensory quirk. Like the name suggests, it is called Danger Sense. My bad. Danger Sense, as it allows him to, perceive potential threats within his vicinity, kind of like Spidey Sense, though it doesn't grant omnipotence of his surroundings. The quirk responds to only negative emotions and hostile intent directed towards Deku. It is a subtle distinction, but this quirk is not as reliable when dealing with, of course, any quirk that is mutated. So if you're mutated, it doesn't really help. Now, of course, the main weakest, it's pretty much it. But if you don't harbor any ill will, the danger sense can be false, as if Toga were to go up against Deku, she is in love with him, as danger sense will never register towards her in battle, as Toga wants that boy. Now, of course, Nina Shimura had the float quirk as the original user, as she was the seventh user for One For All and All Might's mentor, as float is a very simple quirk with one purpose. It grants its user the ability to fly and retain control of their movements while in mid-air. Of course, when Deku unlocked the quirk, it quickly became his preferred method of movement. And for good reason. Float allowed him far better maneuverability than anything shoot style could offer. He still uses float quirk. Of course, he can't use it anymore, but come on now. Also, one of the first quirks we're ever introduced to, especially early on, is Black Whip, One For All's 5th user ability, named let me say if I'm saying his name right. Daigoro Banjo. He was the 5th user of One For All and allows the user to create and independently control several black tendrils, I'm going to say tentacles, from their body. Black Whip is the most versatile quirk locked within One For All. Its tendrils can be used as auxiliary limbs, allowing Deku to grab objects he ordinarily be unable to reach, much like Aizawa's bands that allow him to basically scour the battlefield. And that's pretty much it. Yes, it's pretty much it. As we know, there have been 8 other users of One For All, but because All Might didn't possess a quirk before inheriting it, Deku was always going to inherit the other 7 wielders, and didn't. And as we know, All Might was not able to access any of the user's abilities, but that may have just been because of his severe reliance on All Might on the power stocking the baseline ability for One For All, so he never delved deep into the quirk. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.